How to Land SEO Clients. What's up, guys? Chris M. Walker, Superstar SEO and Legiit here. I want to apologize for not being on camera today, but I'm having some webcam issues. But I have this topic I really want to talk to you guys about, and that is how to land SEO clients. And this one thing that you absolutely have to fix before you can start closing deals and signing SEO clients, which, as you know, is probably the easiest way to start making a living doing SEO. So before we get into that, do me a favor and click the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll get notified every time a new video drops out. So the number one thing that you need to do to start landing SEO clients is to stop thinking like an SEO nerd. What I mean by that is SEO tends to attract these very technical people that want to get into the details of link building and content optimization and all these other things. And the thing is, people and businesses that you're going to be selling SEO services to don't care about that sort of thing for the most part. It's just not something that interests them, and it's not something they're going to really understand. And the problem is that when you start talking about that, you lose them. So what you need to do is stop thinking like an SEO nerd and start listening. I'm going to give you an example here in a minute, but essentially you need to start letting people tell you what they need and then just let them know how you can solve it for them via SEO. You need to stop thinking like a nerd, start listening, and start thinking like a closer. Now, I was reluctant to use this term, this closer, because to me, it kind of puts like a negative, slimy used car salesman, no offense to any used car salesman that might be listening, type of salesperson, because that's not really what I'm telling you to do. You need to be able to think like a salesperson or like a closer, but you still need to be empathetic, like Counselor Troy here. Now, yes, the same guy that just told you to stop being a nerd made a Star Trek reference. Let's move past it, okay? So essentially what you need to do is stop thinking like an SEO and start thinking like a business person and figuring out what people need, letting them tell you what they need so they're doing most of the selling for you, and then offering them a solution. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples. One is going to be what most of us do, including me. I don't do it anymore, but I'm absolutely guilty of having taken this approach in the past. And then I'm going to give you a much better, in my opinion, example of how you can go about closing SEO clients. So in scenario one, this is the standard SEO approach. This is something I've done. If most of the people watching this were honest, it's probably something they've done, and it just doesn't work, and it gives the whole industry a bad reputation. So we're going to be talking about two people. We're going to talk about Steve the SEO and Bill the roofer. Steve is a new SEO, and he's trying to get some clients, and he's doing some outreach. And he'll do things like this. He'll send a cold email or make a phone call and be like, "Hi, Bill. My name's Steve, the SEO. I'm an SEO expert, and I can rank your website on the first page of Google and start bringing you in leads and sales from Google. When can we have a meeting to discuss this further?" Bill, who doesn't know SEO very well and doesn't really care about Google, is like, "I don't know, let me think about it and get back to you." And he's probably going to say that because he's been approached by, tons of SEOs day in and day out. Business owners, particularly in certain niches, just get bombarded with the same message over and over again. And even as an SEO, I get it. And in this situation, Steve the SEO is probably never going to hear from Bill again. And he's going to think that this SEO thing doesn't work, or he doesn't know what's wrong, basically. The problem is that Steve started by talking about what he can do. He started talking about, and this is a very basic example, some SEOs really dig into the links and the content and all that crap that people don't care about. But what Steve did wrong here was he started talking about SEO and not learning anything about Bill. He just assumed that Bill wanted more rankings and more money and more whatever. So he didn't take the time to listen to Bill. He didn't take the time to get to know Bill. So Steve is never going to hear from Bill again, and Steve's probably going to have to go back to his 9-to-5 and be pissed off. So let's talk about scenario number two. This is where you can think like a closer and listen to your prospect. So in scenario number two, Steve the SEO, and forgive me for not writing out their full name, Steve says, "Hey Bill, how's business going?" And Bill says, "That's going good. Could always be better." And Steve's like, "I hear you, Bill. Let me ask you this. What do you mean it could be better?" And Steve will be like, or Bill will be, "Well, they're opening a new set of high-rise buildings over on the other side of town, but I'm not getting any of that business from them because I don't have enough trucks and guys to cover that area." And Steve will be like, "I hear you, Bill. Well, let me ask you this. Why exactly would you like to expand into that part of town?" Bill will say, well, like I said, there's a bunch of new high rises that need roofing over there. And if we could get a piece of that action, I could add some more staff and not only cover that area better, but I could give my guys now a raise since they haven't had one in 2 years. Also, my daughter Samantha is going away to college next year, and I'd like to be able to get her some of the things she needs before she goes. And so from there, Steve would be like, yep, I hear you, Bill. Well, let me ask you this then. Would you be interested in learning about a way to get a few extra sales a month? And you probably wouldn't say sales, but whatever. Enough that you can buy that new truck and hire a guy for the other side of town? Bill who still is going to be skeptical because he, as I said, he gets this all the time and he's probably on the fence. He'll say, it depends. How much will it cost? I don't have a lot of extra cash. Rather than just go for the sale right here, Steve will be like, yeah, I hear you, Bill. I run a business too, so I know how important it is to manage your money. Bill, let's do this. I'll swing by your office on Thursday and we'll sit down for 15 minutes and talk about what we can do to get you that extra cash you need to get Samantha her college stuff. It won't take much of your time, and because I know you're very busy. And if you're not interested, then no harm done. And if you are, we can talk further. Sound good? Bill's still going to be skeptical. Like, this is a process, right? You can't just rush through it. Bill, as long as it won't cost anything, it can't hurt to hear what you have to say. So this is where Steve would really go about setting the appointment. He would go, great, Bill. I'll have my office set up the time with you. I think you'll love what I have to say, and if you decide to give it a shot, the only problem you're going to have is that you can't hire someone fast enough. Sound good? Bill says, it sounds good. Great, Bill. I'll see you on Thursday. Now, which of these two scenarios do you think is most likely to work out for Steve, the SEO? And by the way, this is obviously a super ideal scenario. Maybe not a super ideal, but kind of an ideal scenario. You're going to have to adapt this as it goes. But it's pretty obvious that scenario number 2 is much more likely to lead to a sale for Steve. So let's bring up some key points of of that example that I just went through. What Steve the SEO did right this time, well, what he did wrong the first time was I already went into a little bit. He rushed through it. He didn't listen to what Bill needs. He really didn't take the time to get to him at all. He just went in for the kill with his SEO nerdy Google rankings and things like that. What he did right in scenario number 2 was he did very little talking, meaning he just asked a couple questions to Bill, and Bill told him what he needed. That's kind of the whole key to the whole thing, is you learn what people need and you listen to their problems, and then you let them know why what you have for sale is the solution to their problem. The next thing he did was he kept using his name to build familiarity with Bill. So instead of just kind of rushing through it and talking about what he wanted to talk about, you notice how he kept saying, I hear you, Bill. I hear you, Bill. He was agreeing with him, using his name to reinforce that he knew him, and listening to what he said and taking his side on it. A lot of people feel that everything is against them. So if you can take their side, they're going to trust you more and be more likely to extend the conversation and eventually do business with you. After he was done, he repeated back to Bill what Bill told him his end goal was, which was helping Samantha, his daughter, go off to school, helping get to buy a new truck and hire some new guys, and to expand into the other part of town. He repeated some of that back to him in a natural way. He didn't just read it off like bullet points, kind of like I'm doing right now. He actually read it back to him. And then at the end, he said, sound good, in the way that he was in the form of a question. That way Bill was was forced to answer him and reiterate back to him that yes, everything he talked about sound good. And again, he overcame the few objections that Bill threw at him by agreeing with him, saying that he doesn't have a lot of money. He agreed with that. He doesn't have a lot of money either. And he just kept agreeing with and signing and basically being Bill's friend. And because of that, he was able to get the appointment to sell him on his SEO service. At this point, he's pretty much lined him up. And as long as the offer makes sense for Bill, he's probably going to say yes. So as you can see, there's a lot of layers to this and a lot of different steps and moving parts, and you're going to have to practice to get good at it. It's not something that most of us are born naturally with. I certainly wasn't, and I'm certainly still not a master of it by any means, but it's so much more effective than what most people do. So many people, especially SEOs, are just so bad at this because they want to go into all the the nitty gritty details about what they can do for them, and then they start listing features. You'll rank here, your website will show up here, you'll get more leads and conversions, and they start using all this insider slang tech terms that people just don't understand and they don't care about, and they talk themselves right out of a sale when all you have to do is ask a few questions and listen to someone and get to be on their side. That's probably the key to this whole thing, right? Is listen to someone, just to hear what everybody has a problem. So all you have to do is ask them about it, and eventually it's going to come back to they're not happy with some situation, and you just need to figure out how the product or service that you offer will solve that situation for them, and you'll be able to sell, whether it's SEO or whatever, because no matter what business we're in, we're selling something. Even if it's not in business, even in our personal lives, you're always selling something. And if you take the time to stop being a nerd and start listening to people and hearing what their problems are, empathizing with them and not just thinking of them as the next commission, but actually empathizing with them and listening to their problems and figuring out if your product or service is a solution for them, you're going to make so many more sales. You're going to land so many more SEO clients, and you're going to grow your business and enrich your life in ways that you never could have just by going through a boilerplate template full of facts about what you can do for them. The bottom line is no one cares about you. What I mean by that is that no one cares that you are a great SEO or that you can rank them in Google. What they want is, if they want anything, it's to have someone solve a problem for them. And that's your job, is to listen to them and solve their problem. So I hope you found this beneficial, especially if you're trying to get SEO clients. I know that a lot of my students in Superstar SEO Academy, they struggle with this, and it's something I felt that would be beneficial to everyone. So if you like videos like this, let me know, because I'll kind of guide whatever the rest of the channel, what the channel is going to be like going forward based on what you guys say. But if you like videos like this, let me know. Thanks for watching. Do, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll talk to you again soon.